Welcome back to Nation of Glory. Today we bring you the fascinating journey of a man whose imagination shaped not only Hollywood but the childhoods and dreams of millions around the world. A man who turned galaxies far, far away into something closer than ever before, and who showed us that adventure and magic could live on a giant movie screen. This is the story of George Walton Lucas Jr., the creator of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and a legacy that has defined modern cinema for generations. George Lucas was born on May 14, 1944, in Modesto, California, a small town surrounded by farmlands and a world that seemed quiet, simple, and far away from the lights of Hollywood. Growing up, George was not the loud, confident kind of child one might expect from a man who would later command vast universes of imagination. Instead, he was reserved, thoughtful, and deeply fascinated by stories, machines, and above all dreams of escape. He spent hours tinkering with gadgets, building things, and gazing toward horizons he couldn't yet touch. His world was modest, but inside his head, it was limitless. As a teenager, George was not the straight-A student people might imagine. He wasn't focused on academics. Instead, his passion was racing cars. Lucas loved speed, loved the idea of freedom behind the wheel. Cars became his escape, his rebellion, his dream of control and adventure. But fate had a different plan. Just days before high school graduation, Lucas was involved in a near-fatal car accident. His car flipped, rolled, and was crushed so violently that doctors didn't expect him to survive. But George Lucas did survive, and that accident changed his life forever. It stripped him of the reckless dreams of racing and instead pointed him toward another path: storytelling. He realized life was fragile, and if he was going to do something with his time on Earth, it had to mean something. After recovering, George Lucas decided to pursue higher education, eventually enrolling at the University of Southern California's School of Cinematic Arts, one of the best film schools in the country. At USC, Lucas found himself among other passionate dreamers who wanted to change the future of movies. He was inspired by experimental films, documentaries, and above all, by how moving images could shape emotions. He fell in love, not just with movies, but with the craft of building them: camera movements, editing, sound design. He wanted to explore, to push boundaries, to do something no one had ever done before. One of Lucas's first breakthrough projects was a short science fiction film, called Electronic Labyrinth, THX 1138 for EB. It was experimental, strange, and ahead of its time. But it won him recognition and helped pave the way for his feature-length debut. In 1971, Lucas expanded the idea into a feature film, THX 1138. The movie was cold, futuristic, and dark, a critique of a society ruled by technology and conformity. It wasn't a box office success, but it showed Hollywood that Lucas was different. He wasn't there to copy what had already been done. He wanted to reinvent cinema. But George Lucas's real breakthrough came in 1973 with American Graffiti. A nostalgic look at teenage life in the early 1960s, it was a love letter to youth, music, and the fleeting magic of small-town nights. With a modest budget, Lucas crafted a film that resonated with audiences everywhere. It became a massive success and earned 5 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. Suddenly, George Lucas was no longer the outsider. He was Hollywood's next great voice. With success in his pocket, Lucas dared to dream bigger. He had a vision that many in Hollywood laughed at: a space fantasy story inspired by old serials, mythology, and his love of adventure. He wanted to make a film that combined swashbuckling heroes, strange creatures, futuristic machines, and timeless battles of good and evil. That dream would become Star Wars. But the journey to bring Star Wars to life was anything but easy. Studio executives at 20th Century Fox doubted the project. Many thought it was too childish, too weird, too risky. Budgets were tight, technology was limited, and almost no one believed it could succeed. Lucas himself was exhausted and overwhelmed, battling constant pressure to finish the film. He pushed the boundaries of special effects, creating Industrial Light and Magic, a company that would revolutionize movie visuals. He and his team invented new techniques, new cameras, new ways to bring impossible worlds to life. Every spaceship, every lightsaber, every alien was a product of innovation born out of necessity. Finally, in May 1977, Star Wars was released. What followed was nothing short of a cultural explosion. Audiences lined up around blocks. People went to theaters multiple times just to relive the experience. It wasn't just a movie, it was a phenomenon. Star Wars changed cinema forever. It gave birth to modern blockbuster culture, merchandising empires, and a level of fan devotion no one had seen before. From the hum of a lightsaber to the words, "May the Force be with you," Lucas had tapped into something universal. But George Lucas was not finished. He continued to expand his galaxy, creating The Empire Strikes Back in 1980 and Return of the Jedi in 1983. The trilogy became a cornerstone of popular culture, inspiring generations and proving that imagination, when combined with relentless determination, could reshape an entire industry. Yet Lucas wasn't content to live only in the stars. In collaboration with his friend Steven Spielberg, he brought another legend to life: Indiana Jones. The Adventures of the Whip-Cracking Archaeologist, first seen in Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981, became yet another blockbuster series that captured the spirit of old adventure serials and created an icon of heroism and discovery. George Lucas now had not one, but two legendary franchises under his name. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Lucas expanded his empire. Lucasfilm grew into a powerhouse of creativity. Film became the go-to effects company for Hollywood, contributing to films like Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, and countless others that redefined movie magic. His company THX ensured high-quality sound standards for theaters. Lucas wasn't just a filmmaker, he was an architect of the modern movie-going experience. But perhaps one of his boldest moves was returning to the world of Star Wars with the prequel trilogy. Beginning with The Phantom Menace in 1999, Lucas sought to tell the story of how Darth Vader came to be. While the prequels divided critics and fans, they once again pushed the boundaries of technology, pioneering digital filmmaking and CGI characters like Jar Jar Binks and Yoda's fully digital form. Lucas proved once more that he was willing to take risks, even if it meant facing criticism. By 2012, George Lucas made a decision that shocked the world. He sold Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise to the Walt Disney Company for over $4 billion. For some, it felt like the end of an era. For Lucas, it was a way to ensure that the galaxy he had created would live on beyond him. Disney went on to produce new films, television series, and projects that expanded the universe to new generations. Yet even after selling his empire, George Lucas remained a towering figure in Hollywood. He turned his focus to philanthropy, pledging much of his fortune to education and the arts. Through the George Lucas Educational Foundation, he worked to improve learning through innovative teaching and technology. His commitment to giving back proved that his legacy wasn't just about lightsabers and adventures, but about shaping the future in meaningful ways. The story of George Lucas is the story of a dreamer. From a small-town boy obsessed with cars, to a near-death survivor, to a film student who dared to imagine worlds no one else could see, Lucas showed that creativity has no limits. He faced doubt, rejection, and failure, but never stopped believing in his vision. He taught us that heroes can come from anywhere, and that sometimes the greatest battles are not fought with weapons, but with imagination. Today, when we hear the opening crawl of Star Wars or see Indiana Jones put on his hat, we are reminded of the power of storytelling, and the courage of one man to dream bigger than the world around him. George Lucas didn't just create movies, he created universes, memories, and legends. And so, the force of his vision continues to inspire. Because as George Lucas himself has shown us, it only takes one person's imagination to change the galaxy forever. Thanks for watching Nation of Glory. If you enjoyed this story about the life and legacy of George Lucas, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends. Until next time, may the force of storytelling always be with you.